Hey guys, welcome to the Learn Feng Shui podcast, where you'll learn Feng Shui from a classical point of view, taking out the myth and superstition. So if you're interested in learning Feng Shui, Chinese astrology, all things Chinese metaphysics, as well as the superstitions and myths that connect it all, you'll enjoy learning Feng Shui with me. Hey guys, welcome to the Learn Feng Shui podcast, where ancient traditions meets modern living. I'm Candice Berlanga, certified Feng Shui practitioner and Red Ribbon professional with the International Feng Shui Guild. Today, we're going to be looking at the monthly energy for March, going off of the newsletter from the Learn Feng Shui website at learnfengshui.com. You can go check that out as a companion. A little plug there. We'll be looking at the shifting flying stars, breaking down Zodiac Forecast, and sharing tips for staying healthy during this micro season. So if you're looking to align your space or navigate the astrology, these cosmic influences for the month, or even just support your well-being through the seasonal shift going into spring, I've got you covered for this episode. Let's get into it. Starting off with this first cycle of energy that begins the month. It starts March 7th and goes through March 20th. Remember, it's the first solar term, micro season within the month, and that's called Awakening of Worms. During this time, we can kind of expect these fluctuating temperatures, still cold in the mornings and warmer in the afternoons, kind of depending on where you're at in the world. I know Texas, again, we've been getting the warmer temperatures and have even reached about 80 degrees or so in the afternoon. So it's nice for being outside. I'm looking forward to doing some planting very soon, hopefully. March 20th through April 8th is that second solar term called spring equinox. And that does align with the pagan wheel of the year and the observance of the obviously spring equinox. And it is a time where the light and nighttime are more balanced. It'll be 12 and 12 hours of day, 12 hours of night. So a lot more balanced. If you're here somewhere in the US, we'll be springing forward and moving our calendars, and we do start to see it get dark a lot later, which is always nice. Staying healthy during this time of year, coming from asianmedicine.org, which I'll link in the show notes. The awakening of insects or awakening of worms is this third solar term of the year. You should start to see buds setting on trees, especially the early bloomers like cherries. That's kind of nature signifying that it's awakening. The warmer temperatures are on its way. A bird singing, and then start seeing more bugs during this period of time. That's why it's called Awakening of Worms. I read somewhere one time that ancient China, what they used to do is go hit the ground to so-called wake the worms up. During this time, staying healthy, protect your yang qi. It says here, even though we're in spring, it's the early part of the season, especially for the year, and it can still be cold. So continue to dress appropriately, especially since there can be a wide fluctuation in temperatures from day to day. I know last week, it got super cold here. And again, we kind of talked about the fact that it's not really going to be early spring all the way. So we may still get some freezes or some cold times, some cold days, and maybe another nor'easter hitting, who knows. But yeah, stay warm. It also states here that movement, especially in the morning, is a nice yang activity. And you can guard your yang qi by doing some more active things in the morning. It says here, upon waking, take a walk in the courtyard, loosen your hair and relax your body, and focus on the wheel of life. Movement in the morning is a yang activity, and it's recommended that in the spring and summer, you nourish the yang, and in autumn, you nourish the yin, which we've talked about during these seasonal shifts before. You want to be more active. You can do more stretching. If you do yoga, you could do like a vinyasa flow where it's a lot more active than just that really deep stretching. You just really warm those muscles up. It's suggested this time of year. It says here that Chinese medicine practitioners know that there's a mental pattern associated with the wood phase. The spring is anger. And patients who are prone to liver depression and liver depletion patterns should be monitored during this time period to be sure the qi is circulating smoothly. And your diet this time of year should protect your yang qi as well. It recommends eating leeks, chives, scallions, drink a little bit of alcohol. I would say that you could drink limoncello because bitter foods are recommended during this time. Foods like mints. And it's also suggested that you do like citrus fruits this time of year. One thing I've been doing for myself is drinking Earl Grey tea. Earl Grey is one of my favorites. It's so yummy. It's one of my faves. It contains a black tea, but also a bergamot oil, and it gives it that. It's kind of hard to describe the flavor. A little bit of splash of cream, and you get you a London fog. And I've been adding a splash of lavender syrup to mine, so just a little suggestion for something you could drink this time of year. But yeah, still those warming foods and nourishing your yang energy is highly suggested. Coming from Scottsdale Family Acupuncture.com here, it says foods to eat during the spring: leafy greens, sprouts, fresh herbs, citrus fruits. And instead of just the black tea, you could drink green tea also. You want to avoid heavy and greasy foods, processed foods, spicy and hot foods, excessive alcohol and excessive caffeine, because that can disrupt your liver, and a lot of super cold foods and beverages, which I have a hard time getting behind because I love ice in my drinks, but it doesn't suggest drinking a lot of ice. It always, everything in Chinese medicine, you're not supposed to drink things super cold. So we know that, but I prefer it that way. But I know it's not great for your body. It even talks about preparing the food. It says in spring, harness the energy of renewal by incorporating cooking techniques that complement the season's fresh and vibrant ingredients. Light and gentle cooking methods like steaming, sauteing, and stir frying help preserve the natural flavors and nutrients of spring while promoting digestion and vitality. Steaming vegetables retains their crisp texture and vibrant color while making it ideal for showcasing the freshness of spring greens. And sautéing allows for quick cooking with minimal added fat, enhancing the flavor of vegetables and herbs without overpowering the delicate essence. And stir frying combines heat with minimal cooking time, resulting in tender yet crisp dishes that celebrate the bounty of the season. So you can incorporate these cooking techniques into your food also. And blanching your food, where you just do a flash cook in a pan of boiling water, is another way to get like that crispy vegetable. I started doing that and I really enjoy that. So those are ways to stay healthy during this season. Looking at the tone and the energy for the month. Again, this is off the newsletter at learnfengshui.com. Thank you guys for going to check that out. Again, all the information I cover here today is going to be included. Even next week, I'm going to be doing an episode, and some of the information that I'm including in the newsletter for scents of spring, like doing aromatherapy and stuff like that for spring, that's also in the newsletter. So it has a lot of little tips and stuff like that. But looking at the energy here, the earth rabbit, it is the hexagram of abundance, the Yi Jing hexagram, and the earth rabbit represents the imagery of like the sun shining through the clouds. So it shows a time of clarity and clear-headedness, signifying a collective sigh of relief. So maybe this month we'll have a little bit more harmony, even if it's just in standing in solidarity with one another. So the energy for this month looks like it is shifting, at least in the way you feel. We can't control our external environment and our external circumstances. So we need to focus on what we can control, and that can also help shift the way you feel. Maybe a little more clear-headed this month. And weather trends, we talked about that, fluctuating temperatures, maybe or early tornado or hurricane seasons, or unseasonal cold and snowfall, prolonged winter weather we may see. And that's just kind of based on the previous trends. All right, let's look at the zodiac forecast for the month. Looking at the zodiac forecast for the month. This energy impacts you depending on where it falls in your natal chart. Remember, you got 4 zodiac signs, and you just take note of where the animal signs falls. And that is the area that it has the potential to impact. So if it falls in a year, it can impact your social circle of friends and your community around you. If it falls in a month, it can affect your career and parental relationships. In the day, it can affect your health and your romantic relationships. And the hour, it can impact your thoughts, feelings, emotions, your relationship with your children. And if you have a downline, or if you are a manager in a management position, it can impact your relationship with your subordinates. So that's how you kind of look at that. And remember, I don't talk about every zodiac sign each month because some zodiac signs aren't too much impacted with the animal sign. You could look at other factors. Usually just look at the signs most impacted. And usually that's what they're called, the secret friends, or those combining animals. And we'll start first with the Grand Duke, which is the governing energy for the month. Remember, it's the month of the rabbit. And the animal sign that governs that month, or is in charge of the month, is called the Grand Duke. One thing we can do is look at the Shinsha stars for the year to see where to focus that attention. And A few things here. The thriving star, it does suggest a consistent and stable income, like a steady stream of money. So if you are working on contract work or something like that, it'll be more consistent for you throughout the year, but especially for the month. If you work an hourly job, maybe that job will become solidified, you'll become tenured or something like that. You work on a salary. If that's been a little bit unstable, it'll be more stable for you. The ones you need to watch out for are called calamity shaw. So this does indicate the possibility of identity theft or financial scams. And just be cautious and do your research. Don't give out financial information to anyone. This day and age, there's so many things going around. It looks legit in a lot of ways because technology. And a couple that I've seen are one, the Apple Store. I got a message for Apple Store saying my payment was declined because I do, monthly membership in music and stuff like that. But when I looked at the email address, I know because I was like, oh, I don't think that my card would be declined. So instead of clicking on the email, I actually went through the App Store, right? So these are just ways to verify. And also, another thing that I've seen going around, and it's been all over social media, is the tollways here in the US. We have those toll roads. And there's been text message going around saying, hey, you have unpaid tolls, pay by this date. So don't click on that type of stuff. Make sure you do your research, especially if it comes from an odd number. Those I've been getting the messages too, and they've been coming from overseas numbers. So just kind of look out for red flags like that. Just do a little due diligence and you should be okay. But just make sure you're extra cautious this month and really just for the year. Another one you want to watch out for is called Sky Dog and Prison Inmate. It represents setbacks at work. I suggest here you go with the flow and line up alternative suppliers, just alternatives to what you usually have. You have backup because supply chains, we've seen already this year, it might be running a little bit, just be disrupted. Sometimes issues are just out of our control, but these issues can kind of be negated, or if you expect them, the impact can be lessened if you're ready and you are set up to make a workaround, in other words. Okay. Calamity Shaw is one other one you need to watch out for. And this warns of being cautious and just avoiding injury. So just be careful. Now the seasonal combination, which is made up by the tiger, the dragon, and the rabbit. So these are the animal signs that make up the months of or the season of spring. So February, March, and April, if you're born in those months, then you probably have one of these zodiac signs. And this does combine to make the element of wood. So you can use the energy to make connections, network with others in your field, and collaborate, expand your business or market expansion. And it also represents self-help and inner growth or even learning. So those are things you could focus on for the month. Also indicate financial growth. So that's always a good time to see that seasonal combination. It's one of the strongest ones you can have. Next is a three harmony. This is when the rabbit combines with the pig and the goat. So if you have a pig or goat, you have this three harmony combination, or at least a partial combination. It has the energy to bring inspiration and joy into your life. So you can use this energy to nurture and grow, focus on continuous learning, self-improvement, expanding your skills and mindset. Because the wood is like a symbiotic relationship with, if you think of the way the tree roots grow and hold each other together, just like that. You can build meaningful relationships and collaborate with those who inspire and support your growth. You can also embrace adaptability, so staying flexible and being open to change, allowing new opportunities to shape your path. It's my advice if you have the pig and the goat. Next is the combo of 6, your secret friend. The rabbit and the dog. So if you have the dog, then your form of fire energy, which represents passion, motivation, visibility, and transformation. Ignite your passion. Focus on what truly excites and inspires you and channel that energy into meaningful projects and goals. You can use it to lead with confidence. So the fire energy thrives on visibility. Don't be afraid to step up and take the lead and share your ideas with others. Avoid getting burnt out by balancing all this ambition and inspiration with some rest and reflection also. The yin energy to the yang. So the rabbit clashes with the rooster in March, but you might not have much of a clash because the rooster combines with the snake for the year. That combination takes precedences. During the clash, you can also use the opposing energy to make a change. in your life. You can use the feng shui in your home to support you. So, the southeast sector of your home, a snake or dragon, you can spend some time there, and that will also take away some of this clashing energy. All right, guys, let's look at the flying stars for the month of March now. All right, let's look at the feng shui and flying stars for the month of March. Let's start with the positive sectors. Flying stars 1, 4, 6, 8, 9 are considered positive, but this month, the Flying Star 4 may present a little bit of a challenge. I'll be able to use that. But before we get into that, let's talk about how to activate these areas. You can enhance these areas by feng shui activations, meaning you can move the energy or chi in an area with a radio, fan, some water, a candle, moving objects, or just using the sector, work and studying. And also a good clean and declutter will help activate the area. Moving furniture around also helps activate the area. Starting with the favorite one, I think everybody's darling is a flying star. Number 8 is the Wealth Star going to the east. And this flying star 8 you can use to create more work, bring in contracts if you're looking for work. If you're looking to change jobs, you can put in applications there, sit there, conduct remote interviews. That flying star falling in the east can also help with some career growth. If you're a Gua 3, find some motivation to get things done this month, especially focusing on self growth, setting long term goals, learning new skills, or doing some financial planning, maybe finish up those taxes. This will align with this energy. And you can enhance it by working in the sector, studying movement, fan, or you could place a little bit of a short term water activation. Actually, you could probably place that for the year, should be quite fine. That's how you use that energy. Flying star number 1, the authority star, goes to the center. Remember, from my perspective, we really don't activate the center of a home. It's not really a gua. It's not really a space you could activate. But star 1 does shift here, and it sets a collective tone for the month, meaning things could move fast, forward motion, even introspection. We might find ourselves as a society reflecting on bigger issues because it's that reflective energy. It'll take some time for quiet reflection, meditation, or seeking a few minutes in stillness. Since the star 1 for the month can make it feel like it goes really fast, you might want to slow down a little bit. A short nature walk may be in order, according to my newsletter here on the website at learnfengshui.com. Letting you know all this information is on that newsletter on the website. All right, flying star number 4, the Academy star, goes to Gua number 8 in the northeast. But remember, that energy can't really be used because the yearly 5 star is there. So just keeping the sector quiet. Don't use it more than usual. Don't pay too much attention to it. So you can't really start using it or study there, which is usually what that 4 is, that Academy star. But with that 4 star, the energy supports learning, creativity, and relationships if you're a Gua 8. So you could look forward to that. You can engage in some personal growth by reading something inspiring, writing down new ideas, or reaching out to somebody who supports your growth. Those are ways to use that. And you don't enhance that within any kind of way. Just keep it a little bit quiet. Flying star number 6 goes to the north, Gua number 1. And the 6 Lux Star brings a positive energy that supports discipline and authority, but it can also indicate miscommunication with maybe upper management or somebody in a higher position because that yearly star 7 is there. So use the energy to be assertive, but just be cautious of being offensive. It's really about talking out of turn at 7 star. That's why it carries the connotation of legal, because it's like slander type of issues. But if you're a Gua 1, you could just practice some mindful communication, pause before responding, choose your words carefully, and focus on clarity to avoid misunderstandings. Make sure you clarify everything. I know sometimes I'll see like these memes floating around, and it's like, I'm not responsible for what you hear. I'm only responsible for what I say. And with effective communication, that's not necessarily true. You do want to make sure that you are getting your word out there and the person understands the deeper meaning of what you're saying, or the real meaning of what you're saying, and not taking things out of context. So clarifying, repeating back, and just practicing some effective communication can be very helpful if you have that 6 Luxar, especially if you're in management position. Make sure you communicate to your staff effectively. And you can enhance the energy just by spending time using lamps, lighting a fan, or even a radio. I wouldn't do a water activation. A flying star number 9, spiritual and happiness star, goes to the southeast in Guan number 4. Combining with the 1 star, it can spark creative ideas, but may also create inner conflict between action and reflection because it's like a fire water clash. But it does make a combo of 10, so it's quite good. Usually a combination of 10 and flying stars, it's pretty good. I just don't overthink. Usually that overthinking kind of. If you're a Gua 4, you can channel your inspiration to a clear plan. If you have an idea or goal, take a minute to write down some action steps to bring it to life. Remember to take action on that. Usually when you kind of flesh out the idea, you write it down, you have it all out there. It's a little easier to implement. And you can enhance by fan activation or spending more time in the area. So that does it for the good flying stars here. Let's take a look at the challenging sectors we might want to cure for the month. All right, looking at the worst sectors or the areas we might want to cure for the month. Flying stars number 2 and 5, of course, we usually flag those as the worst ones. 3 and 7 can be a little bit neutral depending on where it lands. So you don't need to cure every sector. Remember, a cure would be like if you have a cure item, those Wooloo gourds, a metal weight, a coin charm, or a saltwater cure, saltwater jar. Those are ways to cure an area. Or if you have a preferred one, you go ahead and do that. It's perfectly fine. Flying star number 2, the illness star. Let's start there. The energy goes to the northwest to quad number 6. It combines with the star 3. Sometimes this energy can bring challenges around relationships, authority, and the possibility of illness because the star number 2 is always like an illness star. A little bit contained, though, with that metal of the northwest sector. So, not too big a deal. I don't think you really need to cure it. You just spend a little bit of less time in the sector. If it's your bedroom, maybe you want to put a little saltwater jar or something for the month, but not a big deal. Just make sure you don't get sick. Goal number 6, respond to conflict with calm and understanding if tensions arise. Just take a breath, listen, and choose your response rather than reacting. Effective communication, just kind of like I talked about earlier with that, with the north, with the Gual one. Flying star number 3, the quarrelsome star, can create some conflict. So Gual number 7, it goes to the west. The energy, it might create potential for miscommunication, heightened emotions, but the combination supports personal growth and creativity if you handle it correctly. Practice self awareness and keep your temper in check. Remember the 3 7, already a clashing energy because the 3 going to the west just indicates fighting, and then 7 is more about arguing. If you're a Gua 7, express yourself through writing your creative outlet to channel aggressive energy into the journaling, art, or a project that helps you process your thoughts. That's kind of my advice there. Just mitigate it by practicing some mindfulness and self-awareness. Flying star number 5 goes to the south to Guan 9. The combination leaves. This combination can bring some obstacles, feelings of heaviness. Star number 5 usually indicates you need to be cautious and mindful. Also, illness and injury. So, especially if it falls at your front door, bedroom, or kitchen, you might want to put a cure there, saltwater cure or something like that. Just spend less time there. Guan number 9s need to be cautious of blood pressure related issues because that star 6 for the year is there, and the 9 combining with that 5 can indicate some blood pressure issues. Spend some time in nature, practice mindfulness, stay centered, and do some deep breathing. Usually that is a good thing to do. Just be cautious of injury again. Flying star number 7, the legal dispute star, goes to Guan number 2 in the southwest. This may be a time where it shows a little bit more of a neutral or positive energy. There's potential for prosperity or opportunity through networking, but just be cautious again, that miscommunication, misunderstanding associated with the 7 star. Be careful things aren't taken out of context. Mindful speech, old-fashioned work can all lead to some financial opportunity. So just spending less time in a sector, be mindful of communication. You don't need to activate or cure it. Just be aware that the energy is there. Moving lastly to the Earthshaw, the no renovation sectors. We do have some flying stars that are positive in these areas, but remember, no digging, no renovations, and that usually affects the ground level of a floor. So if you are on a higher level, let's consider the flying stars instead. But these do affect what are called the earth energies, and the month is that east area. So remember, the Grand Duke or the Tai Sui for the month affects the east sector. And plus, there is some yearly energies we want to avoid there, but particularly this month, no digging or renovations in the east. And right across from there is the month breaker or the Sui Po in the west. So we're going to avoid renovations in the west. And of course, just that northwest, north, and northeast. We can't do renovations unless you use date selection. And the southeast with the Grand Duke there, we're going to want to avoid renovations there. So that really only leaves the south and the southwest. But remember, Flying Star 5 going to the south is considered a little bit negative. So we're not going to want to do that either. If you need to start somewhere, if you have an emergency and you need to start a renovation or digging or something like that, message me and we can see what we can work out. So remember, all this information is available also on the website at learnfengshui.com on the blog post. And included with this is lucky dates. So there's lucky dates for business, finance, health, home, and spiritual for the month. Do you want to do a little spring cleaning, spiritual cleansing, look at home projects? You can take a look at that and do date selection for that. All right, guys. Well, that wraps it up. All right, guys. Well, hope you enjoyed today's episode, covering those weather trends, energy for the month, staying healthy, flying stars, and the Zodiac Forecast. Hope you find the information useful. This month, I do have at least I think I have some fun topics lined up here. We're going to look at when to say I do, choosing an ideal wedding day. Since we're coming up on wedding season, you probably may have chosen your date already, but it's okay. It's fun to kind of go over and look at anyway. And then we'll have Sense of Spring and Rabbit Folklore for the month of March. You guys stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you guys next week. I'm going to see which episode I get done first. I might go with Sense of Spring and Rabbit Folklore first. So I'll catch you guys next week.
For a free energy mapping of your floor plan, please check the link in the show notes. To support today's podcast, go to learnfengshui.com, sign up for emails, leave a review, and share with your family and friends.